In the development of the new mechanic system for Nova City Heroes, it looks like what's emerged is a kind of almost a universal dice system, augmented by cards, which will add in, and it can be usable for all sorts of different things, which is good because I have all sorts of different ideas. Various ideas for different genres, old and new. I had horror ideas, cyberpunk ideas, and let's just see if this one flies. An idea about idiots. Now, the idiot is a great underexplored part of the roleplay game experience, and you can play an idiot in a number of ways. Firstly, there is that whole paranoia thing of, your characters dying in the most spectacular ways imaginable for the laughs of the amusement of the table. What if idiots could have a story of their own? A kind of a hero's story of their own, where they must protect themselves against the most dire of threats, which is personal growth and knowledge and understanding of the self, which is what we all need to move beyond idiocy of various varieties. I had an idea for a role-play game based around a gap year, or gap year, as it's known in the UK, where people, normally young and moneyed, go off around the world and have marvelous fun before coming back to go to university. They take a year out of their lives to just have a great time, really. And some of them are really fab, really, really why, sound, insightful, intelligent, interesting people. Others less so. What if you had a group of young people on a gap year, and when they go out to Bali or Indonesia or Thailand or wherever it is, on the way, accidentally stumble across fiendish plots, international smuggling rings, spies, the mafia, that kind of stuff, and managed to go through a series of adventures using the powers of undeserved self-confidence and managing to solve problems by, a thing I read on Reddit once that probably works. And the way in which you run this game is at the moment that the characters begin to develop and start to really, learn something from their ordeals, they actually really begin to struggle, and there's less character advancement, and the chances are the character might actually develop as a person and stop their kind of daft misadventures around the world. So to keep the game going, you need to try to avoid learning anything at all. Might not have epic stamped all over it, but I think it will be a good laugh anyway. And you can choose your favourite kind of idiot. There was that. And then I'm thinking about an idea, and people have done this before. It's kind of something like a pulp type thing. A meeting of obviously Indiana Jones and Doc Savage and the Rocketeer, and maybe some more slightly occult as well. In that period, late 1930s, and I think we just call it punching Nazis, because let's face it, the only thing to do with a Nazi is, well, actually just try to ignore them and don't engage in violence at all. But being as we're talking about a fantasy roleplay game, punching Nazis is an entirely laudable aim. I can't imagine there are any Nazis watching here, and if you are, well, either stop being one or, recognise that there's going to be a roleplay game based around hitting you. I think, well, it is as personal as it gets, actually, but there you go. You have terrible beliefs. Anyway, so those are my two thoughts for the day. Gap Year and Punching Nazis. Neither of them might work, but sometimes you've got to go with the wacky ideas that are a little bit offbeat, maybe don't map in quite as well. And then there's all the other stuff too, which I'll talk more about next time. Take care, everyone. All the best. Bye bye.